What's good, YouTube? Did I do a good impression? Well, it's JCD here. Not the face that you might expect, but definitely the face that you'll want to hear from. This is which Yu-Gi-Oh! Box is best to invest in. So, I know you're looking at all this and wondering where any of these numbers came from, or what they mean, and why it's so colorful. Well, it's so colorful because it makes it easier to read, and also I'm a child at heart and I like making things just look very pretty. But in general, this is the breakdown of how to find out what boxes are best to invest in, and for some reason, one of them is Destiny Soldiers. I mean, comparatively, but let's get right into it. Let's take an example such as new challengers. So, basically this started because I found a box at $39, and I figured that's lower than a lot of other booster boxes. Might as well see if it's worth it. So, we look at how many commons are worth above $1, because at that point you can actually sell them on eBay. And it only turns out that there's one, and that's Fluffled Bear. Off the top of my head, I remember that it's Fluffled Bear. And we did some quick math to realize that there's about 180 commons per box on average. Just something to make the numbers clean. So, with that one Fluffled Bear that's worth above $1, we keep that in mind for the rest of the calculations. So, we will do the same thing for every single other rarity, which is to say 24 rares, 8 supers, 2 ultras. The red, when it comes to these, are for older sets, and by older sets I mean pre-Bosch. Blue is for post-Bosch, that's why Savage Strike is blue, that's why Code of the Duelist is blue, because they have the supers in every pack unless they're of a higher rarity and we don't have ultimates. I'll explain the black in a bit, but the idea behind this is that we've got 8 supers that are worth above $1, 5 ultras, every ultimate, and most secrets. I forget which one. I think it's Virgil? I think Virgil's the one that's not worth above $1 for some godforsaken reason. But either way, average per box. So, the way that this is calculated, and I'll put some graphics on screen real quick. So basically the idea is, you would go ahead and do the math of how many there are above $1. So there's 1 in 44. So we're going to put that on the right-hand side of the equation, and I'll explain that in a bit. So then we take the average of all cards above $1, and for commons it's very easy. It's just the $1 Fluffled Bear. So Fluffled Bear would be $1 divided by 1, because that's the only other thing that's the only common that is above $1, times however many commons you would get in a box, which is 180. So in general, it can be explained as the average of a card's worth above $1 within a rarity, times however many times you're going to push your luck to get a card of that rarity. In commons, it's very likely, in fact you might say it's common. And then, on the right hand, it would be the likelihood that if you hit a card of that rarity, is it going to be the card that is worth above $1? So that's why it's going to be $1 times 180 times 1 over 44. And so, when that math comes out, you get average per box commons in $3.82. So you're on average going to get almost 4 Fluffled Bears per box. That's also true to just go on any common, I guess you could say. Funnily enough, but either way. For the rares, we didn't have any, so that's going to just be 0. For supers, there were some outlying supers. I forget which super it was that was a lot higher than the rest of them in the set. But I can tell you that the Ultra is aboard, because that thing's 20-something. So Ultras definitely have an outlier, and that's why the orange is there, just to signify, hey, this is a little bit of a skewed average because we have a giant high outlier. That sort of thing. Lot money, I can explain over here, because I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head. The lot money is basically doing a lot of 95 commons, 4 rares and a super rare, or any holo, whatever it may be, for $7.69, which is undercutting what is on eBay right now, basically confirming it will sell. And I guess I can say why I feel like I'm okay in saying this. I run an eBay store. It's something that I've been doing for a while now. I just recently got back into it, but basically, lots just sell like hotcakes. Lots and holo-lots, and I'll get to holo-lots in a bit, but you can just sell bulk cards very, very easily as long as it's at a decent price. So we basically just undercut the most not the most profitable, but the most prolific lot seller on eBay. I believe it was $7.95, so we made it $7.69, and then that's $7.69 per 100 cards, so we've calculated how many cards you get in a box, so you'll get just over 2 lots, meaning it'll be $16.61. You can do the math yourself as well, but this is how it came out. And these would be the prices on eBay, with the $7.69 per 100 cards. So, at that point, we total it up, and that's just going to be the total between all of this, because that's the average that you'll get on a box. The lot money is just confirmed for every box of its kind, that's why it's $7.61 for new challengers. It's also $7.61 for the Shining Darkness, Cosmo Blazer, Duelist Genesis, etc. Don't need to worry on that since you get the same number of cards in a pack. And the box cost is $39. Now you get $47 on average, so Zaborg or bust, basically. It's that's what you can interpret this as, since that's how the statistics are working in this case. The case would be $524, and your total on average per case would be $564.36, which is calculated just by doing the total box on average times 12. The math is literally that simple. And the special edition case cost is less expensive, and yellow means maybe invest in it, red means definitely don't invest in it, like if you see with the this is the Duelist Genesis, I remember that off the top of my head because it's $50 and you pay $250 for a box. I understand entirely why. I was just curious as to if the box could make you any sort of money, and no, you just lose $200 per box. You just lose $200. I mean, if you're buying this for being nostalgic, you lose $250. Which is just a funny way of looking at it. But the special edition case, so, funny thing about special editions, or super editions, whatever you may want to call them, or whatever Konami's calling them, advanced editions. The idea of them is that you get 3 packs and the supers, however many it may be depending on the edition. So New Challengers has a bunch of pretty good supers, 8 out of 14 over here, for example. And one of them is Herald. Ah, yes, I remember the super outlier. It's Herald of the Arclight. That's what it is. But also keep in mind that rates are not as guaranteed on that sort of thing. Some people say that it's better rates on super editions. In my experience, that has come out to be true. But buyer beware on that sort of thing. But we must keep in mind that it's less expensive. You get a bunch more packs, because 24 packs in a box times 12 boxes in a case is going to be less than 30 packs in a box times 12. That's going to be 6 times 12. You get 72 more packs. The main idea here is that special edition cases are more than likely going to be worth the money just because of the fact that you get a bunch of supers, and they're all worth money just to discount on the actual box itself. Like if you get Herald of the Arclight, the 3 packs that you get are literally free. That's why on average a box costs $13.76. Running other statistics on like your likelihood of getting super rares, the same way that we did average per box. It's average per box in the promos themselves. That's why this is an average, and it's not just, well, we divided 500 by 12 and got this number. No, we're counting the promos for this. It's hard to do the math on the other ones, and it's also just a lot less important because a lot of Super Edition cases either don't exist or are out of stock, which is what the OOS is. But in short, New Challenger Special Editions cases are actually really good to invest in, because you get a lot of good holos. You get a money common just to make things a little bit more easy. I mean, a free almost $4 per box that's basically guaranteed because it's commons. That's not bad. That's why I look at Shining Darkness and its abhorrent amount of money commons. Like, for example, Shining Darkness has 4 money commons. One of them's Ronin Totem. I believe the Herald Ritual spell. I did this a couple days ago, so I don't remember the names off the top of my head, but just know that there are a lot of money commons and you make $22. Because there are 4 of them, and they're all, like, $1 to $2 and the least expensive is still more expensive than Fluffle Bear. So $22 off commons alone. Average per box secrets, I believe that's Infernity Barrier. That is the outlier there. Lot money, etc. You get $64 on total when the box only costs $56. So that's not that much cushion room. It's not as safe as one would imagine, but just keep that in mind. Buyer beware, it's always up to you guys. Now, to talk about how the All-holo sets work, it's a lot simpler math. It's basically the math that you do up here, except it's only for supers and secrets. Because that's all you need to do. That's all it is. You just need to worry about that. And then off of the supers, you'll make $12.29. Off of secrets, you'll make $17.36. The holo lot money is a lot better, to be quite honest, because it's $11.79 per 50 holos. If that sounds a little bit expensive, well, tell eBay that, because boy, I've been selling things for about that rate. Sometimes a little higher, sometimes a little lower, depending on what's going on at the time of my life, I guess. Since I've had like 3 separate waves of holo lots to get out of my possession. But this price definitely sells. It is lower than the most prolific price on eBay, just like with the regular lots, and it's 50 holos only, as opposed to, 100 cards. So that's why the lot money is so much better, and that's why a lot of all-holo sets are actually really good to invest in if you're going into an eBay store and you're willing to sell lots. Because the lot money is $28, and when the box costs $40, it's actually a really good investment because you just need to make up $11, and then after that it's just pure profit. And if you're paying attention here, you see the lot money plus average per box supers makes you break even, so if you get literally any secrets whatsoever, it's profit. eBay fees not included. That's why like for this sort of thing it's just $8 above. Really depends on eBay fees and that sort of thing. But when it's just about $18 above, that is a really good rate. And then blackouts mean it doesn't exist, because Hidden Arsenal packs do not have ultras, ultimates, rares, or commons. So we don't need to worry about the math on that. And also, relevantly enough, Savage Strike doesn't have ultimates. And average per box secrets on Savage Strike. We counted Thanos Dragon and Pot of Extravagance as being half the rate of other secret rares in the set. Since we don't know exactly how much it's short printed, since a lot of it's anecdotal, we just took kind of a shot in the dark estimate, to be quite honest with you. But even then, Savage Strike is still worth investing in, just because of the fact, well, not even just because of supers, or secrets, I mean. They have other good secrets, but if you get one of those, it pays for the entire box and also almost a second box. So keep in mind, it's a good investment, especially at the price of $66.44. A lot of these prices are found on blowoutcards.com. I am not sponsored by them, but boy do I wish I could be. Because boy howdy, I want to toot their horn as much as possible. They have some of the best prices, at least for just very large bulk. That's all they worry about. Just like cases, special edition cases, and sometimes boxes. But they have cases over boxes in that case, which is kind of insane to me, but I enjoy it. So Hidden Arsenal 1 is actually, strangely enough, a all-holo set that's not worth money. Some things that are worth pointing out, just so I can... because a lot of this is understandable, and I've explained most of it. So I'm just going to keep in mind that there are some things that are a little funky to look at here. So all-holo sets like Spirit Warriors is actually incredible. Like, it costs $55, and you get $105 per box on average. Primarily because of the secrets. No, not even because of the short-printed ones. And those are accounted for in the calculations. The short-printed ones aren't even the most expensive ones, funnily enough. But then lot money always takes care of it, and your total case on average case will be $1,266.22, which is over double the case cost. And also keep in mind you get free shipping on this sort of thing. Over $1.99 on blowout cards, which is where a lot of these prices come from. I didn't notate where I got these prices, because if I looked up Hidden Arsenal 3 booster box, I'd choose the cheapest thing from the site that I actually worry about. So I've ordered from Blowout Cards and I've ordered from DA Cards World. Both of them are very good sites, but I prefer Blowout Cards in this case. Otherwise, just keep in mind that Spirit Warriors is a really good investment, but then you don't get as much money in Destiny Soldiers, but also the boxes are $20 less expensive. God bless Allure and their 7 money supers and 12 money secrets. Not even because of the short printed ones, which are accounted for. They're not considered outliers in this case. They're considered to be half as likely. Therefore, their price is halved in the calculations. So just keep that in mind. All the prices are pretty stable on this sort of thing. It's not a get this secret or bust set, especially with cards like Allure in there. So then you have the total on average being $95. The case is $1,151, which is quite a bit of money, especially if you're only putting in $440. Unfortunately, the cases cost the same and even cheaper for Code of the Duelist and Shadow Specters, but they're garbage. Don't invest in Code of the Duelist. The best card in that set is banned now, so you don't need to worry about it. So generally speaking, all holo sets are almost always worth investing in just for the sake of holo lots. And it's just something nice to just have a steady income going, because because you'll always have lots selling, like maybe 2 a day. If you have a quantity of like 50 up, you'll get maybe like 2 a day. Sometimes you'll find someone who just gets them in bulk and wants to like get half price to buy all of them. You always say yes! Well, depending, but you shouldn't put always under anything involving business. But also keep in mind that there are a lot of sets to go through. I've only gone through 30 of them, or sorry, 29 of them, because that was enough to make a point for a video along this line. But I'm going to be adding on to this as I go. Some of them are, Savage Strike is already outdated because Thanos Dragon went up and Great Wolf went up, both of those being very large outliers and also big money cards in the set. So keep in mind Savage Strike is even more worth investing in, purely because if the math's a low ball and it looks good, then it must be better. Simply put. I'm going to be investing in a lot of this sort of stuff on my channel as well, just to have some more content. Just keep in mind, don't invest in Maximum Crisis, primarily because you can get entire cases without Secret Rares. Raging Tempest, all their good cards are banned. Invasion Vengeance, why would you even bother? And Breakers of Shadow. I mean, you get a good value, it's $70, it's just the boxes are a little overpriced right now. Breakers of Shadow is still a pretty good money set, surprisingly. Not because of supers or anything, but because of just just very expensive cards, simply put. I mean, keep in mind you get 722 per box on commons alone. I forget the common in Breakers of Shadow. But I did check the math on every single one of these numbers once, twice, 3 times over. So all of this is accurate. You can base your business assumptions and your business dealings off of these numbers. And you will feel very, very resolute in doing so. Because you can check the numbers as you will, they're all correct. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Which booster box is the best to invest in? Well, if you want one that's not just for lots, I would say, well, newest set, basically. Savage Strike, it's the most it will fluctuate, but granted, it will fluctuate primarily in an upwards direction. You can just watch any sort of House of Champs Market Watch video on why that makes sense. But if you're worried, if you don't care about just having a lot of lots sitting around and trying to sell off your bulk, and you don't just want, like, a wall of Yu-Gi-Oh cards just taking up space in your apartment, well, I'd recommend any sort of all-holo set, specifically Destiny Soldiers and Spirit Warriors. Destiny Soldiers is the most bang for your buck, but the highest number per case is still Spirit Warriors. So if you want to spend more money, make a bit more money, but less compared to what you spend, go Spirit Warriors. If you want to make a little bit less money, but it's for paying less money, go Destiny Soldiers. Very good investment. It is wonderful. And go to Blowout Cards. It is a wonderful site. I've ordered from them multiple times, and keep in mind, their prices are ridiculous, and they're having a big sale right now, so go on ahead and invest in those. Trust me, I'm going to be practicing what I preach. You guys are going to be seeing a case at some point, but either way. We're going to basically wrap this up. Some sets that you definitely do not want to invest in. Cosmo Blazer, there are a lot of rising cards in Cosmo Blazer, but it's still, the math just still comes out to you make a buck on average, which means you go into the red if you're actually selling these on eBay instead of as a vendor or something. Duelist Genesis, lol, and Crossroads of Chaos. Crossroads of Chaos is actually, it's god-awful. $90 box. And you think, oh, you just get Ghost Black Rose. No, it's a $40 box. Also, keep in mind, we don't care about short prints or ghost rares because they're basically just icing on the cake for investors. You don't just say, man, if I get a ghost rare Black Rose, this Crossroads of Chaos investment will be worth it. Now if I get a case, I just need one in every single box. You don't worry about those. I mean, if you really do, it's like saying, yo man, I invested in tournament pack for Jinzo jars, you know? Like, what are you doing? I bought this set because of a misprint. No. But either way, that's basically the entire video. If you guys have any questions, please be sure to leave them in the comments down below. Even though this isn't going up on my channel, I'd love to hear what you guys think. And I will be patrolling the comments section to make sense of everything that I said, in case I said something that didn't make the most sense to everyone. So, now you know which boxes are the best to invest in, at least of this small sample size that I took of inexpensive boxes off of blowout cards, and I got some good results. So, if you guys enjoy, please leave a like on this video, give House of Champs some love, and you know what? Why don't you come over to my channel as well, where I do primarily anime card stuff. Like, I talk about anime characters' deck profiles, I talk about their cards and crazy cards and the best cards and the worst cards, all ones that will never see print. Until they do, I called it with Time Lords, memed it into existence. Either way, the way behind it is support House of Champs and support myself, and have a wonderful day. In either case, until next time, Jay Stagato, out.